far. Let's see who all joins us.
Yeah, I'm going to record. Well,
Thank you. Just in case we have some nuggets of
recording.
There we go.
All right.
There we go. There we go.
Okay.
So before we get started, and Paul, I see now that you are using this nice fancy software. Have you had it for a while?
I have had it for a while. Have I known how to use it? No. So I got
the reason why you've chosen that one over the other options, because obviously we all now need to start thinking about software for next year.
I chose this one over the other options, A, because it was the first one I heard about, B, because I have a Mac. And
I see. Okay.
So I can't use
I
can't use the other one that he had suggested.
Okay.
So which one is the one you're using?
This is Astro Gold.
Okay. Is that the good one?
I don't know.
Okay, because there's one of them that they rave about, and they say it's like the Rolls Royce of...
No, probably not.
I don't know.
I think it is, though. You know, I definitely think if this one is one of the suggested recommended, quite good in what you can do with it. And, you know, because I think the thing is the cheaper or the free versions, you don't get to manipulate the chart. You don't get to change things that you want or don't want. But I'm just liking the layout of the chart here. I'm liking how they've done the aspects, which is why I was asking if you're enjoying working with this one, because I like the aspects that you've got the thin lines, the fat lines, the broken lines, etc. But then you've also got the symbol or the glyph in the middle. So that's quite nice. I quite like that. And the icons seem to be nice and bold and bright. You know,
you do like. Can I? You do have. Can you see my preferences screen?
Yeah.
On the left-hand side, there's charts 1, 2, 3, 4, and underneath it is Marilyn's info.
Okay. So yeah,
so
I'm not sharing. Yeah, but in terms of on the settings, you can decide what is displayed. So planets and what are they?
So you can customize it to suit yourself.
Right. You can decide what is aspected. You can also have it show conjunction, opposition, trine, square, sextile, semi-square, square. You know, like that.
Yes.
You can allow it to do 2 wheels, 1 wheel, whatever.
Oh wow. Okay.
You can tell it. So you can have the zodiac can be tropical.
Okay, so you can adjust
there's all kinds of adjustments that you can make to have it fit what you want.
Because Constance and I were chatting the other day saying, when do we need software? And I went looking, Constance, and it is for second year.
But that's so odd, because I asked Rod, and when I registered, and he said to me, no, you only need it in your third year.
Oh, because if you go to
actually, I know, I saw that in the notes.
Second year.
I saw that. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm about to ask him for my chart. So I'm going to ask him again. I'm just going to clarify and say, look, the notes are saying year 2, but I remember you telling me year 3.
Yeah.
You know,
and he said to
save
up for that.
Yeah, because I asked specifically, and he said, no, it's year 3 for a reason, because people that are serious about astrology obviously are going to go buy the software. It is a lot of money. It is an investment. So I did specifically ask that, but I'll go and query again now, because I think it is quite expensive.
Okay. And then in Paul, you've now obviously captured Marilyn's data into your program.
No. In the software, there is a selection of charts. So like there's Martin Luther King's chart, Jane Goodall's chart, Tom Hanks' chart. So there's a bunch of people whose charts are already preloaded.
It's quite weird to think that you're just now, looking into a person's life, without their permission.
Yeah.
It's quite weird, hey? Quite weird. Yeah. Right. So how do we start? What's our first?
So I think maybe the first thing we do is kind of getting a feel for what the houses are.
Okay.
So what happens in which house, or what each of the houses signifies. Does that sound like a good idea?
Okay.
Yeah, we can do that, yeah.
Because that kind of keeps coming up is,
Yes.
you know, when you're looking at this house, what is the house talking about?
Yes.
So, I mean,
Yes, please. That would be great.
it's a
Hi, everyone.
hi.
Sorry.
Who's this?
Kind of snuck in.
I can't see
It's Julie.
anybody.
It's Julie. I'll turn
Ah.
my
Oh,
camera
hello,
on.
Julie.
Hi, Julie.
Hi,
Your name,
Julie.
your name has come through as Matepad Hawaii.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Well, call me mate, Pad. Call me mate.
All
We'll
right.
call you mate. Julie's
Hi.
name is now mate.
Hi. I don't.
Hi, thank you so much.
I'm gonna. So I'm recording. It should have told you that I'm recording, and I'm just going to. I don't know if I can post it to the WhatsApp group. Anyway, well, we're recording, and here we
If we
go.
need to, we'll figure it out. Yes.
So,
Okay.
I mean, I think it's just kind of the getting the houses down is probably a thing that comes more and more with practice, but let's do that and then go back and do
Yes.
something else again. So
Okay, so we start with house 1, and house 1 is in the sign of Leo, and Leo is ruled by who?
The sun.
the sun.
Of course, yes, of course, I should have known that. So therefore, the sun is the ruler of house 1. Am I correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
And then and house 1, the significations of house 1 are the south.
Yes.
So what you look like, how you
Your identity,
come across, your identity, your body type. So Leos usually have good hair.
And of course, Marilyn did have good hair, didn't she?
Yeah, so yeah, like with a Leo ascendant, then you kind of assume good hair and kind of glowy look.
And big, you know, like I want to say flashy, big, extra.
Yeah, the look is definitely.
Guys, I'm a Leo, and I am a real Leo.
So
Oh,
Leo with a Leo ascendant.
I've got Leo hair, big green eyes. It's a real Leo look going on. It is. It's true. You can see a Leo. You can.
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
Yeah. And it's big, like big hair, curly hair, sometimes like golden, or like not golden so much. It's big hair. The hair's big. The hair's a feature for sure.
Big and glowy. So that's like, so that is Leo ascendant though.
Oh, is this
so
okay?
So then it's like I don't know whether it's true for you that you have your sun and your ascendant in Leo.
Oh, in the same. Okay. Yeah.
Okay,
right.
no, I'm a Leo sun all the way. My ascendant is in Taurus.
Your ascendant is in Taurus.
Yeah, someone else.
So
yeah.
Whoops. So then that would be, if your ascendant is in Taurus, which I also have. I have my ascendant in Taurus. So then with your ascendant in Taurus, then your first house is ruled by Venus.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
And
so your appearance would be more Venus than Leo.
It is, let me tell you, it is Leo through and through. There ain't no Venus there. Although there is Venus.
Oh,
there's Venus is there.
It would be Taurus rather than Venus.
Sorry, Taurus.
Yeah, so
yes.
Taurus rising. So definitely very much like that. Like people for years have always commented and say, oh, you look like a real Greek goddess. Going into my Greek lineage, and that's how I present. But you can see I look like I have a Leo sun, and I do. It's Leo all the way. It's big hair. It's Yeah, it's big energy. It's big.
You have wide shoulders.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not very tall. I'm probably about 5'4", 5'5" maybe. But when I walk into a room, the heads turn, and it's got nothing to do with beauty. It's your energy. Yes,
charisma.
it's your It's Leos are
Demanding.
large and in charge. They're like even the quiet ones, because you get Leos that are quite reserved. I've got a few Leo friends that are very reserved, but it is a specific energy, and you can see, like I'm all sun sign Leo for sure. There's no two ways. It's big. It's big everything.
So shall we go back to Marilyn's thing then? So then the second house is Virgo.
Okay.
Her second house. Once you've got the first house, all of the other houses line up. But anyway,
follow on, yes.
Right. So
Virgo is ruled by Mercury.
Yes.
Yes.
And second house is money and self-worth.
Yes.
So I've got a question at this point. So if we're looking at Virgo being the Virgo's in her second house of money, and if we say that Virgo is ruled by Mercury, should we be looking to see where Mercury is in the chart?
Yes.
And try and link up, because he was saying that's what good astrologers do. They're linking up. So where is Mercury at this point?
In the 10th house.
Which is that the career house?
That
10th house is profession, mother, success.
Okay. So that is kind of the
reality, status, duty. So day to day.
So her resources come from her career.
Or her mother.
There you go. You're right.
Okay, I'm getting the gist of it now.
The linking, yeah.
Yeah, it's all about that. You got to link. This is what takes you onto a different level.
Yeah. And the 10th house is also, I've got another little cheat sheet here. The 10th house is also about public standing. So that would make sense, because and with Mercury as well, Mercury is all about the mind, isn't it? The communication. Right. And being Marilyn, who was larger than life in her persona, in her public appearance, so it makes sense that she's then got Mercury in the 10th house, being the ruler of the house of resources.
Yeah, for sure.
Everybody around her. She used anything and everything that she had access to build her, to grow her, to move her forward.
Right. And her Mercury is also conjunct the sun by sign.
All right, let's look at that now. So conjunct is positive. It blends, joins together, adds to, and the sun is about the ego. So it is making her communication, her expression of who she is even bigger. Oh, that's clever. That is very clever.
Yeah, that is interesting. Yeah.
Oh, you see, guys, now I feel like I'm so smart.
You are. Yeah.
Can I ask a question quickly? I'm so sorry. I managed to kick myself off of the group by mistake. Have you moved on to the second house yet?
Yeah, we just moved into the second house.
Yes, we second house Virgo.
Okay, Virgo, and ruled by
Mercury.
Thank you.
Which is sitting in her 10th house.
Okay, got you. Okay, so
and actually also interest. Sorry. Did you have a question? I stepped over.
No. Thank you. Okay. Please continue.
So Mercury sitting in her 10th house in Gemini, which is its other home sign.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Yes.
Which means that her communication skills would be really powerful.
Amplified. Yes.
Yeah.
Amplified.
Yeah. Okay. So
it's interesting because can I just say something about Marilyn? So she came off with this real dumb blonde, but she actually wasn't.
No, she wasn't.
She's actually said some really profound things.
Yes.
I think she was really on the up and up, but I think she was selling
But she
herself
had
as,
this, she wanted to come across like she was a typical dumb blonde, but actually she was very orchestrated in everything that she did and her interactions with people, which is why, you know, it makes sense now that when you see Mercury in her 10th house, which is the ruler of the second house, which is about the self-worth, maybe not so much the money, but the second house is also beauty. Okay. So I have a question here about rulerships, right?
How does wait. Just go back. How does the second house become about beauty?
In our notes, I couldn't tell you what page it's on, but in my notes where there was a list of keywords for house 2, there was money and self-worth, beauty, comfort, and pleasures.
Okay. Thank you.
So I've just written them all down. Yeah.
Okay.
But now in that same list, I've also written, so like now I understand, we look at house 2, we see that it is in the cusp is in Virgo. So therefore we're saying that house 2 is ruled by Virgo's planet, which is, what did we say it was? Mercury. Okay.
Mercury,
so I understand that rulership, but in our notes, again, when we did the houses, we were given planet rulerships for each house as well. And house 2 on that list is ruled by Jupiter. So that throws me, because when does that come into play and what does that actually mean?
I know what notes you're talking about. Those notes also confused me.
I would ignore that for now.
Okay,
because I think that thing is maybe a step more advanced than we need right now. And
thanks, Paul.
And that, you know, I mean, we would just go chart by chart. And that's kind of a layer more than we actually need.
All right. So we're just gonna stick with our house rulerships based on cusp. And we're not going to look at the actual rulership of houses. Okay, thank you.
Yes. Okay. And then, so are we feeling done?
Like, where can we actually get a list of that? Like, if we're going to work on cusps at the moment, is there anywhere in our notes where it's actually giving us like a list of what is ruling what in terms of?
See, it depends on the chart, Constance, because nobody's first
cusps.
and second and third house are going to be the same. Everybody's going to be different based on the natal chart, how it plays up, how it comes together. So
I think that's where I was getting confused as well.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm also getting confused.
So like Paul's taking us through now, looking at house 1, looking at the sign at the cusp of the house, you then look at what planet rules that sign, and therefore you know who is ruling that, which planet is ruling that house. So in this case, Marilyn's case, she's got Leo, which, as we've said, but like in my chart, for example, I have got my first house ruled by Cancer. So that's my moon. So everybody's is going to be different. So there isn't a thing that specifies house 1 is always ruled by, or house 5 is always ruled by.
I see.
So maybe what we'll do is if we do a quick walk through Marilyn's chart and then just pull up another chart to look at,
and just to see the difference,
and then just to see the difference. Okay,
that sounds great.
Okay. So then house. Are we done? Are we comfortable?
Yes, we're comfortable. Yeah.
So then house 3 is Libra rule, which is Venus.
I'm still looking it up because I'm not clever like you. I haven't memorized it all, but yes, it's cardinal Venus. Yes.
And Venus is in house 9.
So can I just
so
is the third house is about that sort of that early
siblings,
and it's like your early earliest environment.
Your vicinity,
early environment is house 4, I think,
which is children,
which is your roots.
Isn't that the house of the father?
Yes, it's your roots, and the house of your father is house 4. So house 3
It's your neighborhood, siblings, all of
yes,
that.
Correct.
yes, correct.
Is the third house also
transport.
the house of communication?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Communication, yes.
Okay,
Which one?
that's
3?
fine. Okay.
Yes.
So messages and letters and
Mercury would rule that, right? That would be another
no.
No.
On this chart, house 3 is ruled by Venus because
of
it's
the
Libra.
Libra.
Because of the sign sitting on the cusp is
Yes.
Libra, so the house is ruled. On this chart, it's ruled by Venus.
Okay, and then we've got where have we got Venus in this chart? We've got Venus.
There we go. Venus is in house 9.
Okay, house 9. And house 9 is
Aries. Oh,
okay.
house 9 is philosophy, religion, long distance travel, education.
And that's an Aries, right? Yeah, an Aries.
And it is ruled by Aries, which is not a place that's comfortable for Venus.
No, yeah, I would imagine not.
Because
yeah, it's too hot there for her.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because Aries is ruled by Mars.
Yeah, so yeah, they're not that's quite interesting. But am I correct in saying that aren't Venus and Mars friends? Because I've got Venus and Mars in my first house together, and Venus is actually the only planet that is okay with Mars, apparently.
No, they can't be because
that's
it's
what our
fire and
notes
water.
are saying.
It's fire and
That's
water.
what our notes are saying, that Venus can actually tolerate Mars.
Oh, really?
Well, they can tolerate it. I guess they can tolerate each other because it's fire and water. But Venus is the lesser benefic. And Mars is the lesser malefic.
Yes, yes.
So they are they're opposites in terms of sect. So Venus is the night sign, Mars is a day sign. No, wrong. I lie. They're from the same sect. They're both night signs. They're both nocturnal.
They're both nocturnal. Yeah, they're both nocturnal.
So does she not temper him somewhat? Because that's the impression I'm getting from all of our notes.
Oh, I don't know.
She tempers him, apparently. I think it's the notes were saying that the only planet that Mars can actually handle that he's friends with is actually Venus. So it was I don't know. But also sometimes the notes give conflicting information. So
wait, sorry. What did we do? I'm sorry, I missed something because I had somebody just came to the door.
No, we're still banging on about Venus and Mars and whether they can actually tolerate one another. Because the notes, I've also noticed that sometimes our notes give conflicting information. I don't know if anyone else has noticed that, but sometimes the notes will actually give, like between William Lilly and, like, I've just noticed that sometimes you get a bit of conflicting information. But the information that I've come across about Mars and Venus together is that they can actually tolerate one another. They're actually not enemies, they are friends. I think it's that Venus is the only planet that Mars can kind of like tolerate.
That's interesting.
I think
but I don't know. I'm not sure. Depends on where they are. What else?
It depends on where they are, and actually, I think one of the things that I think that one of the things is what aspects they have to one another.
Yes,
and
yes, I agree.
Has the upper hand.
Yes, and also I'd probably need to look at how far away in that first house they are to one another.
Yeah.
I'd have to, like, how many degrees are that? Yeah.
Well, and who has the upper hand? So is it, are they, which direction are they going? So is Mars going towards Venus, Venus towards Mars? Are they separating from each other? What are they doing?
Yes.
Are they going towards each other, or are they separating from each other, and those kinds of things? So
I was, I was and Paul, I was going to look at that now on my holiday when I have some time.
Okay.
And when I have time for all of that.
That was
So what would
definitely
we
an
say,
it
sorry,
depends.
to go back to Marilyn, so what
Yes.
would we say about her third house? Okay, so we've said now that we've got Libra that rules her third house, which takes us to the, again, I can't remember now,
Yeah.
Venus. And we've said
Venus
Venus is in the 9th house, which is about learning experiences, worldview, religion, values, ideals.
Yeah.
So what is that saying about her third house, which has got to do with her near area, vicinity, communication, siblings, and learning? So what would we say about Marilyn's third house there? Because like I said, the Venus, so Venus is all about fertility and growth and adding to getting more of friendship, love, all of those things.
But also, isn't Venus about beauty? Like the woman completely changed her looks. Like
yes,
she used
she
to be a
did.
brunette.
Okay.
And then, I mean, she was beautiful regardless. But then she underwent this metamorphosis.
Third house
and then,
is about communication and siblings and transport. So we've got
isn't
to bring
that also
that.
isn't that also got something to do with
no,
her early environment? Isn't
no,
that not,
her early environment is 4th house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think through more kind of almost proximity, like who's close to her, rather than the stage of her life.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
So maybe
yes,
those that were close to her, she loved them with all her soul, with all her heart. Can we maybe say that? That the people that were close to her, that's the vicinity, the closeness, the communication, the siblings, she loved them, the Venus, the giving, the love, the friendship, the beauty. She maybe showered them with all sorts and loved traveling with them. That's 9th house, taking her siblings and the people close to her on her travels and showering them with gifts. And maybe she was just very flamboyant in that way. Maybe that's what we can say about the 3rd house.
Oh, wasn't she far from them? Was she close to them, or far? Were they far away?
Well, and the other thing is that her 9th house and her 3rd house can't see each other, so she doesn't have any aspect from Venus.
Yeah, as far away from each other as possible.
Yes. Okay. So they're almost in opposition to each other. Oh, I understand. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So we can say that it's not really having an impact. Okay.
Maybe she felt isolated then from, or maybe she was isolated. Like,
okay, the opposite.
It was I don't know. Can you say that though? Is that too fluffy? I don't know.
What does Rod say?
He called me fluffy. That's what he said. He called me fluffy. So I've got to be careful not to be fluffy.
Not to be fluffy. Don't be fluffy. Don't be fluffy.
I'll try not.
Okay. Well, let's go on to the 4th house because I think that one looks a bit more exciting.
Okay.
Can I ask a quick question? If you look at the 9th house, and so the ruler of that house in this case is Aries, and obviously Aries is then also Mars. In that house.
Yes.
What if Aries wasn't in that house, but it was just Venus in an Aries ruled house? How would that be different?
Okay, so Aries doesn't rule the house. It's
Mars.
The Mars rules the house.
Oh, sorry. Mars rules the house in Aries. Sorry. Yes.
Yeah. So it's the country is Aries and the ruler is Mars.
Oh, okay.
So
all right, and then Mars is actually in the 8th. Okay.
And Mars is actually in the 8th house.
So Julie, you're seeing how to link the dots together there.
That help? Did that help?
I'm fine.
Or did that answer your question?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
I think my final question is just a little bit like what does it mean that Venus is in the 9th house then ruled by Mars? What does that mean for her? Do we know? Or do we have an idea of what it would indicate?
What we know is that she's okay there by sect, so by night and day she's okay there. by temperature, not so much, and by gender, not so much. So it's not the happiest place in the world for her. However, that said, all of the aspects that she's making are actually helpful aspects.
But that would make sense, because I mean, she was the epitome of beauty, and that's what she, like, that's Venus basically.
Yes.
You know, it's love and beauty, which is what she portrayed as iconic beauty.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean she can't make hard aspects. So,
no, but you're saying she's not making hard aspects,
right? No, I'm saying that in this chart, all of the aspects that she makes, so the things that she can see,
yes,
where she gets to throw her light, she's doing it in a happy, very
in a happy way, yes,
in a Venus-y way. So, like, for instance, you see that Mars has a trine with Saturn, so and that's not an aspect that Mars likes to have. Mars's preferred aspect is an opposition.
Okay, yes, because Mars is a fighter.
Right. So Mars is hot and heavy.
Yes.
But now I've lost the question.
We were saying
she can't see the third house, even though she's ruling it.
Yes.
She doesn't see it.
Because it's opposition, and there's no
aspects. There's no aspect. So she doesn't throw any light on there.
Yes. But I think Julie's question, maybe I'm going to say bad example of the 9th house, and maybe we should be looking at one of the others to answer Julie's question more, because Julie's question was more around, like, I might be wrong, Julie, but you were saying about Venus being in an Aries ruled
in a Mars roots
yes. What does that actually mean? Am I right? Is that what you were asking?
Yes.
Yeah, but I think you guys have helped me out with that. Thank you.
Okay. So we'll take one step further. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, we'll just like one little increment at a time is going to help.
Yeah, no, we'll get there. Yes. We'll get there.
Okie doke. So then next we're in the 4th house, which is the father,
the roots, the ancestor, the dependency,
the family of origin. Yeah.
Yes.
And Saturn is in her 4th house.
Okay.
And Saturn is a mean beastie.
So Saturn is diurnal, malefic. Saturn is earth. It's melancholic, cold and dry, distant, slow, isolation, limits, restrictions, responsibilities, dark, sinister. I can carry on.
And it's in Scorpio.
Yes.
Okay, so do we know, I mean, did Marilyn have a good upbringing, like the roots, the father, what do we know there? Did she have a stepfather?
God said it was really difficult relationship and he was quite controlling. Do I remember correctly?
Okay, yes, I seem to think so. That sounds familiar to me.
Okay.
But that would be, I mean, with Saturn being in that house, just looking at those two things, Saturn in the 4th house, that does give you that kind of dark father energy, dark, parental kind of male domination thing. So yes, I think it's a safe assumption to say that she had a difficult relationship with her dad. But now if we look at the rulerships here, so where is Saturn? Saturn's in the 4th house of Scorpio, and Scorpio's ruler is Scorpio's ruler is Mars. Also Mars.
Mars.
It's Mars. and Mars is in the 8th house, and the 8th house is of death, others' resources, sexuality, shared resources. Yeah.
Good heavens, heavy.
It is heavy.
Did one say he died young? He died like earlier, and then she kept marrying men that were like her father or something like that?
Yes. She was basically looking for maybe she was looking for a father figure her whole life. Daddy issues.
But now let's bring in the trine aspect there, because now we've got Mars in the 8th house trining Saturn. So see now, this, which way do we read it now? Do we read it Mars trining Saturn, or is it Saturn trining Mars? Which way do we read that? Does it matter?
It's the same.
It's the same thing.
So it doesn't matter which one goes first. Okay.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
So what does that say when we look at the
so isn't a trine is positive, right? It's
trine is positive, but now we've got two negative
Mars
planets
is helping,
with a positive
right?
trine. Mars
Mars is helping.
Doesn't Saturn have a higher moiety than Mars? Or is it? Is it? I think so.
It does, but I don't know that matters in this context.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's what we're trying to read is kind of when Mars throws its light to Saturn, what does it do? How does that
impact the relationship
make Saturn better able to do Saturn things? And when Saturn throws its light to Mars, how does it help Mars to do Mars things in the place that Mars is sitting in?
Okay.
Does that sound at all helpful, or does it just sound more confusing?
No, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. So Saturn is restriction, boundary, limits.
But it's also structure, isn't it?
Yes.
Structure. So structure can be a good thing. Yes, Saturn. Structure can be a really good thing for some people. Like sometimes when you have these, I don't know much about transits, but when Saturn moves into a specific aspect of your chart, it's coming there, and you must know that when it leaves 3 years later, you're going to have structure in that area of life because you're learning hard lessons.
That's from the
you're
cold
getting
and
the
dry.
obstacles.
The structure comes from the melancholic cold and dry because that is static. It's solid. So it's structure. Okay.
Yeah. So it's actually for your higher good at the end of the day. So sometimes Saturn can be beneficial.
But Saturn is about limits that area
some people need limits. Some people need structure desperately. So how do we interpret in this chart, Paul, how is Saturn beneficial or Mars? How do we do that?
I don't think that Saturn's not there to be beneficial. It's a malefic. So it's kind of, it's there to be, I guess, worked with in a way.
To bring something else you can do with it,
Right. And so, like in there, Saturn is sitting in Mars's house. The ruler of the house that Saturn is sitting in is Mars. And so Mars is sitting in the 8th house. So there's something about grief or death or inheritance or sickness that is in that conversation with her, in conversation with what with her family, her father,
in the fourth,
foundation in the 4th house. So there's
I can sometimes do the links, but then it's like, what is it? You know what I mean? It's like you can make the link.
Yeah.
Or you can link them up, and then you're like, it could be a myriad of things.
Yeah.
But I suppose the most important thing for now is that we can link the two up and say, okay, something in this 4th, involving the father or the early life, whatever is linking up to the, what is it, the A? Yeah, with Mars.
So there's something about not just boundary, but grief.
Yeah.
Kind of mingled together.
Yeah. And could we say with Mars being there, because Mars, I get quick movement action. So could we maybe say that experience came about quickly, that it was abrupt, that it was sudden?
Yeah, probably.
And maybe not violent, but something like that, like very
like quick,
sudden, traumatic.
Yes.
Shocking is like something quick. Sometimes those quick things are quite shocking. Like it just comes out of the blue, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cutting. Yeah. So maybe it's saying her father's demise was quick, instant, sudden, unexpected, tragic.
Yeah, I mean, well, at least those kinds of things we can look up.
Yes. Yeah, because they were talking about a stepdad, weren't they? Talking about a stepdad yesterday or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe it's him actually. Yeah.
That's probably about as much as we can say.
Yes. Yes. With our limited knowledge.
Right.
Because also what we don't know is if she was raised by a stepfather, maybe the grief is actually involving her real father. And, you know, maybe it's stuff that's not, I don't know, out there in the public or whatever, but maybe that's where the grief is.
Yeah. So she spent most of her childhood in a total of 12 foster homes and an orphanage.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's pretty heavy. That's pretty heavy. So I think there was, you know, okay, that's heavy.
That's
so probably, maybe Mars maybe Mars then in the 8th house is also about like constant change.
There we go. Yes.
Yeah, because the 8th house, isn't that about being what is it? It's like
death and endings, but also inheritance.
Yeah.
Shared resources.
And also her her mom. So she only has one listed parent, her mother.
Yes.
Her father's not listed. So we don't know.
Okay, who the actual birth father is.
Right.
Oh, yes. Okay, yeah. That sounds right. Sure.
But also, how do we not know that at all these different foster houses where she went to, you know, maybe there was some grief around the father, and that was, you know, these foster fathers were putting her under duress, or just being in their company was under duress. You don't know, she could have been molested by one of them. We don't really know the full scope of it, but there's something linking up that 4th house to the father,
right?
The father figure.
Well, there's grief with it.
Yeah.
Okay. So
awesome.
Let's move on.
So then 5th house is Sagittarius.
Okay.
And
ruled by Jupiter.
5th house is children, games, fun, play games, fun, passion, etc. And Jupiter is sitting in the 7th house of marriage, partnerships.
Okay, this is huge.
In Aquarius.
Because she wanted kids. She had all these miscarriages, so there were never any children to full term. And then you've got this Jupiter sitting in the house of the partner, and she went through all these husbands trying to, obviously, she wanted to have a baby. I don't think she had much of a childhood either.
But Jupiter is about well-being and kindness and temperance and moderation and, you know, all of those kind of things. So, and then you've got the moon there as well in the 7th house. So her emotions were very balanced in justice and very mediocre, very level. Balanced is the word that keeps coming to me there. But I don't know if I'm reading too much into that.
Aquarius typically doesn't signify balance. That's a Libra signification.
I mean,
no,
it's air.
Aquarius is air, and it signifies
sanguine.
Kind of the also the mind.
Yes. And independent and unique, different, inventive. Okay.
We could always just go with she had lots of marriages with Jupiter there.
Keep it like that, simple.
But with Jupiter there's a lot of marriages, and that she entered into the marriages kind of emotionally rather than, without,
I like that.
Because with the moon there, maybe.
Yeah. Are you okay with that one, Julie?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Shall we move on?
Yes, I'm happy with that one.
Capricorn and the South Node, which we haven't talked about.
Yeah.
I don't know if we want to talk about the.
No, I don't want to confuse myself with that.
Okay, this is great. So the sixth house is servants and
disease, work routines, employees, health. Yeah.
I think she had a lot of that. She had a lot of different people administering different things to her. So maybe they were quite important. Like, a lot of these famous people, like, that's actually a lot of the time their family and their immediate circle, the people that are dressing them, the people that administering the medication. Because I think there was a lot of that with Marilyn.
But now the ruler of the sixth house, the ruler of the sixth house is Saturn again.
Yes.
And Saturn is, as we know, not so fabulous.
No, it's that heavy. You got to ask yourself, who was she surrounded by? Like, the people surrounding her, because I'm sorry to say, but it's like with Elvis, all these people, the doctors are pumping them full of stuff, uppers, down, and I mean, this is the life. It's it's Marilyn and Elvis. It's not great. This is their immediate circle. It's they're in Hollywood. It's not, everything's not on the up and up. It's heavy stuff. It really is. I don't know. That's the feeling I'm getting.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
You know what I mean? That, and for a lot of these people, the reality is that that's their family. It's like a lot of them don't have friends. It's these people that are, sort of in their immediate circle. And I don't know, it just seems very heavy. With, with Saturn linking.
Well, I mean, the one thing is that her mom had a lot of mental illness, so maybe that's the Saturnine restriction that you're seeing there. I don't know who else around her,
but I think she was also on a lot of meds, wasn't she? Like, I think
well, at the end, I don't know.
Suicide in the end.
She committed suicide.
Okay. Did she use medication?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's.
Okay. Shall we move on?
Yeah.
Seventh house, Aquarius, which is.
Yeah. The husbands.
So Aquarius.
The partners.
Is ruled again. This damn Saturn keeps coming back at us, doesn't it? Just
so where are we now? Are we on the seventh house, ruled by Aquarius, right?
That's ruled by Saturn.
Ruled by Saturn, and Saturn is in the fourth house.
Okay, so again, there was something about those relationships,
partnerships, and relationships.
I think she was looking for love. I mean, everyone says that. You can see. I mean, with all the husbands and. That early childhood, lack of the father, the father figure and the foster homes and stuff. She was desperate for love. I think she just wanted, well, that's what you can actually see here. You can pretty much see it. It's heavy, it's dark.
Well, see, I don't know about that, Constance, because I'm going back to Saturn, and Saturn is heavy, it's slow, it's deep, it's all of those kind of things. Considering we've also got the moon in the seventh house, we've got Jupiter and we've got the moon in the seventh house. So Jupiter, what do we know
about
Jupiter? So Jupiter Yeah, but Jupiter's positive. Jupiter wants growth and balance and philosophical mind. So I think she was a little bit off with the fairies with regards to partnerships, which is why she had so many. And the moon coming into it here is also about, you know, her always wanting change and always wanting to be different and always looking for more.
Yeah, I don't think her emotions were stable, put it that way. She doesn't strike me as somebody emotionally stable.
Yeah,
and also
the ruler,
the moon is not happy in Aquarius. If I'm correct, Paul, you said the moon is not happy in Aquarius. No.
I did not.
No. Did you say that?
I did not. Aquarius is air.
Hot and wet, sanguine, yeah. And the moon is
cold and wet.
Yeah.
So they're both wet.
So they've got that in common.
Yes.
But also, we've got the fixedness of Aquarius with the changeable of the moon. So, you know, I don't know how comfortable they are together.
Probably not very, but I'm also guessing that, you know, that with Jupiter there, that her marriages can't have been too crappy. I mean, you know, partnerships that she benefited somehow from them.
Yeah, but also with Jupiter there, that's like isn't that signifying like lots of husbands, like Jupiter's a lot. It's excessive. It's not excessive. It's large, basically.
Abundance.
It's big. Yes.
Abundance.
Yeah, so that might be signifying, you know, the many husbands there, but I don't know.
It's not just husbands, it's all partnerships. And so she may have benefited from some of her partnerships.
And it's also the house of competition. Just remember that. The seventh house is also the house of competition.
Which I think she had competition with some of her husbands.
Probably.
But also competition with other, you know, celebrities. And, you know, and I do think she put a high standard on herself in achieving and being who she was. So maybe she was in competition with herself as well.
Yeah.
And then also, if this is the house of the enemy too, the partner, the seventh house,
the other,
you know, let's just face it. I mean, I don't know much about the conspiracy theories, but there is that whole JFK thing that she was linked to having an affair and they had her killed. We don't know. I mean, at the end of the day,
well, let's just say what we can say from the chart.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like, there's a possibility. It's a conspiracy theory, put it that way, that she had enemies and she knew too much.
But we can't find it in the chart. No, we can't. We're not clever enough. We're not clever enough.
We're not there yet. Maybe give us a couple of weeks and we might know that.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, a couple of months.
We'll come back to this.
Okay. And so the 8th house is
back to Mars.
Pisces.
Shared resources. Okay, so
Pisces, which is Jupiter.
And it's the house of shared resources and death and inheritance and sexuality. And Jupiter, where is Jupiter?
Jupiter is in the 7th with her partnerships.
Of course, we've just looked at that, haven't we?
Yes. But Mars is sitting in there. And Mars.
So what does that say? Mars in the 8th house is saying what to us?
Mars is not happy in Pisces.
No, not at all.
Would be my guess. Yes. My thought is that Pisces is probably cold and wet.
Of course it is. Whereas Mars is hot and dry. So they've got nothing in common.
Yes. And Pisces is very mushy.
Yes.
Very
dreamy,
lovey-dovey.
Yeah,
I know, yeah.
And Mars is very direct.
Yes. So they are complete opposites.
So they are complete opposites.
So what does that say about the 8th house then?
Well, that Mars struggles to express itself.
Okay.
And I wonder whether that's kind of the place of being mildly delusional.
Yes. I like that. I understand that. Yes.
you know, so kind of
Yes.
that the fire cutting and so on, and water not being happy. Does that work as a
It works in my head.
proposal?
It works in my head because I get these
No,
polar
why not?
opposites clashing against each other, creating a false sense of illusion and a false sense of reality and a false sense of everything. I get that.
Listen, can I just say something? These people
Yeah.
that live these lives, your Elvis and your Marilyn and your Britney Spears, they are completely cut off from reality. A lot of them are delusional because they don't live in the world that we do.
Yes.
Mm.
And, you know, this is the reality. Like whether they're on drugs or not, these people are living a completely different life. So there is a lot of delusion there. You know,
I don't know.
I'm
that
sorry, but it is.
I'm not
You don't
sure
think so?
that I buy that. No, I'm not sure that I buy that.
Okay, well, I don't know. I think at any given point, if you leave your house and you've got 15 SUVs following you, I don't know about you guys, but I'd be a crazy lady.
Well, I think it
I don't
depends.
know.
You know,
Yeah, it depends on who you are. I think.
Okay, well, I don't know. I couldn't personally. I
Yeah.
know
that's
what I'm
because our
like.
reality is different. Yeah.
I would be a crazy lady.
Yeah.
There is a bit of delusion here, though, in this chart, and I can see it in the 8th.
Okay. Ciao. So
I
did
do
we
think
say
it's
something that we
different.
were satisfied with about the 8th?
Yeah, I think she was a bit delusional.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm happy
So
with that.
we can move to the 9th, which is that religion, philosophy, long distance travel, education, etc. house.
Okay.
And that is Aries, which is
Ruled by
Mars rule.
Okay.
And Mars is sitting unhappily in the 8th.
Very unhappily in the 8th house. Yes.
Yeah. And Venus is sitting slightly uncomfortably in the 9th.
Yeah, and Venus is about her love and her emotions and all of those kind of things. And sitting, you know, and Aries is obviously fiery and assertive and full of, you know, full of getting things started, not necessarily getting things finished. So could we maybe say that with her Venus being all love and feelings and pretty and beautiful and harmony and fertility, that she was always good at starting those things, especially when it came to her ideals and her values and a worldview. So she was all big, full of ideas, but didn't really have much follow through because of the Aries.
Maybe. But I mean, I don't know what would you call follow through? I mean, she managed to get herself a good career, and maybe just the not having I don't know what her education was like.
Oh, I don't know either, yeah.
And whether that
okay,
was
because
something.
The 9th house is also the house of education. Okay, I see that.
And religion.
Yes.
Does anyone know what that little circle with the X is in the
middle?
Rod said we were.
It's the part of fortune. It's
okay.
the part of fortune, but we don't use it yet.
Oh, okay.
We'll get to it eventually, I hope.
Okay, well, there is obviously clearly some fortune in the 9th house there, well, whatever that means. That thing is.
I don't know how much she traveled away from home.
Well, I would imagine she traveled a fair bit.
Do you?
I don't know.
Well,
maybe
in her
this
career,
day and age, she would have traveled more. I don't know. I don't think she traveled a lot. I don't get that impression.
Oh, so you don't think she really went out of the States much?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so either.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
I don't think
she was very well connected with actors and directors and producers. So I personally, I think that she might have. Maybe even other politicians in Europe, or because she did modeling and adverts and all sorts of things. So maybe.
And everyone said with Aries being there in the 9th house, could we not maybe then say that her trips, if there were trips, they would have been short trips? Because Aries is all about the start and, you know, the quick off the mark, and then it disappears into nothingness. So maybe her trips were short and quick and powerful and exciting and fabulous, but not really long term.
In other words,
although, but the ninth house is long journeys.
Oh, long travels.
Oh, is it long journeys?
Okay. Yeah, so your short travels are in the third house.
Yeah, no, thank you. That throws my theory. Okay, thank you for that.
Maybe it's also about, you know, what gets you somewhere, like the ninth house. Like with her, the fact that Venus is there and that represents beauty, and that's all that she was like. I mean, that's what she was recognized for. Maybe it was that her beauty, her modeling, her career is what got her to places, whether it was recognition or she didn't need an education because she had.
I like that.
She had. I'm not sure.
And she was driven. Yeah, she was driven to be seen. You know, she was ambitious and driven to be seen, to achieve much. So, yeah, and through her beauty. So she wanted to achieve much because of her looks, because of her appearance, because of her beauty, yeah.
Maybe like the spice of your life. Like it might not be all of those things, it might be one or something else, but like what spices your life up, what gets you that excitement in your life, whether it's like, you know, you're studying a lot or you go overseas or what is exotic to you. But for her, it had to do with her beauty. She was traveling, she knew people because of her beauty.
Yes, I get that. Yeah,
she basically had the world at her feet. She had the world at her feet.
Yeah, I guess going from one end of the US to the other would count as long distance travel.
Oh, absolutely.
The US is huge. It's huge.
It's very much exciting. Yeah.
So then the 10th house is her mom and her public profile.
Her status, yes.
We've got the sun there. Oh, yeah, sun
and that's in Taurus, which is ruled by Venus.
No, it's Gemini. Oh, yeah, it's Taurus.
Yeah, it's Taurus.
No, but the 10th
the sun is in the 11th, right?
Yeah, so the sun and Mercury are both. The sun and Mercury are both in the 11th. So actually, there's nothing in the 10th house.
The 10th, it's empty.
Okay, because of the cusp. All right, I see that. I see that. Okay.
Yeah, I'm still struggling with cusps a little bit, but
no, you're not. You got it perfectly now. Come on.
I know, but I'm guessing and second guessing myself.
You got it perfectly, so you're not struggling. You got it spot on first time.
That was absolutely right. So,
can we just? Rod said something last night about if a house is empty. So in this case, like the 10th house, the house of the mother, it's empty, right? There's nothing actually in there, and he was saying it doesn't actually. Nothing needs to be in the house.
Correct.
We're looking at the house and we're looking at the sign and the ruler of the house.
Correct.
Right.
Okay. So because you're looking at like the 10th house, which has got the cusp on Taurus, and Taurus is ruled by Venus. Therefore, you can almost say Venus is in the 10th house. So even though it's physically empty, you still read into it.
Yes.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
So even though it's physically empty, you still read into the house, and you look at into the rulerships and that type of thing to understand the house itself. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go into the 11th house because now there's lots happening there.
Yeah, the 11th house. Okay, we've got
the sun and Mercury.
More cusps again. Oh yeah. Yeah, so the sun and Mercury are there.
And it's Gemini, and Gemini is ruled by Mercury, yes. So Mercury is
actually at home.
Is at home, yes.
Yes.
And the 11th house is the house of love received, of friends, groups, social causes.
Because she actually had a great support system. That's what it's saying. Like the people, like her friends, and would house 11 be your support system? Friends?
Yeah, your groups, friends.
Yeah. So would that show like the people that are around you that adore you, basically?
Well, the people who are on your side.
Okay.
Didn't Rod also say that if you see Mercury and the Sun in close proximity, then that usually indicates an actor?
Yes, he did say something like that. I think he did. I remember that from last night's class. He said that's often how you can tell if somebody's like in the limelight, basically.
I remember him talking about singing. There were 2 planets for singing, but I don't remember offhand what it was.
Yeah, but that does make sense on Mercury. Yeah, it does make sense in the limelight.
No, I can put on my. Oh, can you pass me my headphones?
But that's exciting. So Mercury, just to backtrack there for a second. So Mercury is about communication. It's the messenger, the transportation, the commerce, the trade, the language. It's the mind. Okay. So we've got that in the house of the mother, in the house of. Oh no, wait, we're in the 11th house. My bad.
Yeah.
Love received, friends, group, social, all of those kind of things. And the Sun is about the ego and the way that I'm seen and the way that I'm valued. So that's quite interesting.
Can I ask a question? This Mercury that's here in the 11th house, I've got a question. Mercury is also commerce, isn't it? It's your business, basically.
Yes.
So that would show that she basically had like
a self-business, a self-employed.
Well, yes, people loved her. I mean, she was,
So
her business is basically in the.
Sorry, Julie, what is your question?
I'm so sorry. Where did you? How can you see the self-employed part?
Because it's Mercury and the Sun in the 11th house. So the 11th house, we were talking about being the way that you are love received and your groups and your friends and your causes. Mercury being about commerce, being about business, trade, and the mind, and the Sun being about ego, being about the self. So it's like commerce of the self.
So basically, she was like loved by and adored by the masses.
She wasn't. She was not self-employed. So that I don't think that's what that.
Wouldn't you classify her as being self-employed in book?
No, absolutely not. She was employed by the studios.
Of course, I suppose she was. Yes. Okay.
And I think she felt quite owned. I think that's why she was always trying to gain adoration or almost get validation.
Yes. Okay. Now I understand that.
And then can we move on? Or do we want to say more there?
No, I'm happy with that. Let's go on to house 12.
And house 12 is Cancer.
In the sign of Cancer, ruled by the moon.
Yeah. And the moon is in the 7th.
And the 12th house is about our higher self, our
Isn't
loss,
that your undoing?
Sorrow.
Your undoing is there, isn't it?
Correct?
Yes.
So if we've got a house that's Cancer is ruled by the moon is sitting there in the 7th house. Is that how we do this rulership thing?
Yes.
So that is her wounding. Basically, the partners were her undoing.
Yes.
All the husbands.
Okay. Yeah.
Totally.
I can see that. I can see that.
That's how I would read it. Yeah.
Short, sweet, and to the point.
And then the node is also there. What is that? Is that her north node there, right?
Yes, that's the north node. Is there.
Okay, so that's sitting in her 12th house. So basically, What does that, anyone tell us what that means?
I have no idea. I haven't looked at notes.
The North Node is usually
where you're going to. It's like
it's usually your veracity. So the thing that you're hungry for. It's the head of the dragon. Is the North Node, and the South Node is the other side of the dragon.
So the thing that you're hungry for. And so what is the 12th house other than your undoing? What else?
Sorrow, secrets, unconscious.
So all of her trauma basically sitting in the 12th house.
Well,
it's also your highest self. So to me, I always see the 12th house as a more spiritual, more life purpose kind of thing.
Okay.
But to do with the deep stuff.
I've also noticed tonight we're not dealing with, we haven't touched really on the, what is what
the aspects.
They called? No, not the aspects. Tonight we never really unpacked the, what is it, those outer planets, what are they called?
Yeah,
we're leaving them for now. We're not really paying them much.
And yeah, I mean, I think he hasn't really emphasized them.
Yeah, put any emphasis on them at all.
Yeah, and in the traditional astrology, so in the oldest astrology, the outer planets don't exist. Because they aren't visible with the naked eye. So everything has to be signified by the classical planets.
But I must say, just, talking this through with you ladies tonight has certainly helped me to sort of feel a little bit more confident in what to link, what to look for.
Yeah,
and
I
sort
actually
of like
found
the process.
Yeah, me too. I found this very beneficial. I now actually understand everything, like understand what to look for, how to link everything up. It's actually a lot easier and more clear now. I'm still a bit iffy about the house cusps, but I'm not sure
I don't
when.
think so. I think you need to stop saying that, Constance.
Do you think so?
Because I do. Because honestly, you hit it like you saw it before anybody else did, and you got it absolutely spot on. So I think you understand the cusps more than you realize you do. Because all it is, it's as simple as, is it within 5 degrees? If it is, shift it over. That's it. Simple. Done.
Okay, I see what you mean. Yeah. Okay.
It's really, it's as simple as that. Unless you're looking at the cusp of the sign at the rulership, which shifts for every chart. Every chart will have different. So you look at the line in front of the house number. You look at what sign it is. You look at who rules that sign, and then that is who rules that house.
Yes.
So what I'm going to suggest is pulling up a different chart, not going through what we did now, but just going through the cusps and the rulerships and the just as
just to make sure that we do understand. Yes, I think that's a good idea.
That would be great. Thank you.
That's a lovely. And guys, thank you so much. I just want to say I'm learning so much from each of you. So thank you.
Well, we're glad we can
do one of someone's chart once a week. This is amazing.
Yeah. So let's see. I'm looking for somebody who we might know something about.
Maybe not. Maybe somebody we don't know anything about, because otherwise we tend to lean more.
Oh, okay, fine. Know. Great.
So pick a name that doesn't mean anything to you.
Well, it does, but it doesn't really matter.
Oh, gosh,
Liberace.
Liberace.
Okay.
Yeah, but then then we're just beginning with his ascendant is in Capricorn, which is ruled by Saturn. Saturn is sitting in his 8th house in Leo. And that's literally all we're going to do. We're just going to go around the charts and do that. Okay.
Good.
Okay, so then his second house cusp is Aquarius, which is ruled by
also
Saturn,
which is sitting in the 8th house.
Yeah.
His third house cusp is Pisces, which is ruled by Jupiter, who's sitting in his 7th house.
Yeah.
His 4th house cusp, right?
Sorry, can I just interject for 1 second? Yeah. Very interesting how Aries sits in the middle and isn't actually factored. That's fascinating. I've never seen that before.
Yeah, so there's nobody sitting in Aries at all.
But opposite, you've got 2 houses in Scorpio. That's very fair. Anyway, we'll get there. Carry on. Sorry.
Okay, so and Aries ruled by Mars. Nobody's there. The
what?
Sorry. Did I do something too quickly? The
No.
Okay, the 4th
it's me running off at a tangent. Sorry.
It's okay. The 4th house is Taurus, ruled by Venus. Where is she? Who's sitting in his 6th house?
Okay.
The 4th house, 5th house.
Yes. 5th house. Yes.
Well, Taurus is sitting in the cusp. Both of the planets are in Gemini.
Okay.
I don't know what you do with this. How did we manage to find such a frigging confusing
I know, that's what I'm saying. This is fascinating.
That's why we've got this chart. Now.
Okay.
Because of the cusp. This is actually a good example of chart.
But we're not looking at the planets. We're just looking at the signs and the houses.
Right.
So
and the cusp.
Gemini, who's actually sitting on the cusp of the next house.
Yes.
And actually, yes, both of these planets are actually in the 6th house.
Yeah.
Because here's the cusp of the 6th houses at 15 degrees, and this is at
so these
they're not.
No.
This is the part of fortune in the North Node. Anyway, nobody cares about them. Okay, so Gemini, who's ruled by Mercury, who is sitting in the 3rd house.
Yes.
Taurus. Next is
the 7th house,
which is
Cancer.
Moon,
ruled by the moon, which is sitting in the 12th house.
In the 12th house.
Okay. We just did the 7th house. The 8th house is Leo, ruled by the sun, who's in Taurus in the 4th house. Okay.
9th house.
Virgo, ruled by Mercury, who is in the 3rd house.
Yes.
Yeah. And then Libra isn't looking after any house.
That's it.
Yeah. So Libra ruled by Venus is sitting in the 9th house, but there's nobody there. And then Scorpio is on the 10th house cusp. Yes. Ruled by Mars, who's in the 4th house, but there's nobody there either.
Yes.
What did he say about singers? Didn't he say something about,
There was. I can't remember what it was.
Okay. And then the 11th house
is also Scorpio.
Is Scorpio.
Also ruled by Mars in the 4th house.
Right. And then the 12th house is Sagittarius, ruled by Jupiter in the 7th house. Did we do that too quickly?
That was good.
Okay.
Can I just ask quickly, Mercury, that looks like it's in the 3rd, is that not within enough degrees for it to be in the 4th?
It is.
It is. It needs to actually
literally in the
4th.
Yeah.
Okay, just checking that
Got it. You got it.
Yay!
Yay!
Look at us go. We're like superstars.
Yeah, we are. We're absolutely like superstars. So that I don't know if anybody wants anything else. We're good as far as
that was good. There was a lot of help. Thank you, Paul.
You're welcome.
We'll be able to sleep tonight, knowing we got a bit. I was worried about the stuff. It's very overwhelming. It's getting like, it's just honestly, even in my assignments, half the time I don't know when I'm submitting it. I don't feel confident. I don't feel like I know what I'm talking about.
And
if that makes
if I
sense.
can ask you a question, a personal question, what is your astrology background? Because you seem very knowledgeable.
I listen to a lot of podcasts.
Oh, do you really? Okay, which ones?
Yes, well, I listen to the astrology podcast.
Yes.
But I must say, in doing the course now with Rod, I find the course is way and away more helpful.
Okay, because it's bringing things into context for you that you've heard from the podcast.
Right, and that so it makes I think in terms of learning the glyphs, learning the rulerships, and learning the significations of the houses, to where you and I don't have that yet, but to where you feel really confident. Okay, the 8th house means this, the 6th house means that, the 4th house means the other thing, and just really feeling confident about those make a huge leap in terms of being able to do the interpretation. So I mean, the aspects are nice and good and fun, but I don't quite understand what they're doing yet.
Okay.
Just getting it's kind of like being able to add so that you can get to doing knowing your times tables. And then, and then once you know your times tables, then there's other things that you can do with the math.
Yeah.
Without, without having to go and fish for, like, by the way, what's 3 times 9, so that I can do the next thing. It's like, okay, 3 times 9 just comes to your, comes straight to your tongue without you having to think about it, and you can do the rest of the stuff. So, once we can get to, okay, which planet rules Taurus without having to think about it, or what happens in the 10th house without having to think about it, then doing the analysis part of, okay, well, what does it mean that Taurus, that Venus is sitting in the 9th house in Gemini? What does it mean for the native when that happens? Then I think that comes much more easily.
Yeah. Well, my darling, thank you so much for your time, because you've taught us tonight. You've held the torch for us. I do appreciate it, and thoroughly enjoyed and learned so much. So thank you to all of you for tonight.
Thank you guys.
I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
I really do.
I appreciate your time too. Thanks so much. And
are we going to invite the others?
We did. I'm going to see if I can just share the recording.